Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are doing well and having a good day or evening or whatever time it is that you are watching this video. Today's class, as you might have seen, is called Float Like a Butterfly and Sting Like a Bee. So that's an amazing quote from the beautiful Muhammad Ali. Um, he's talking about boxing. I'm going to talk about yoga. But you might get from the title that we'll be doing butterfly pose. As always with butterfly pose, it's a really good idea if you have something to sit up on to give yourself a little bit of lift. And in fact, today, in particular, if you have something to sit up on, it'll be quite a bit easier to do what we're going to be doing. Even a block as high as this could be useful for you. I'm right now sitting up on a chip foam block, but doesn't matter. Okay, so find a comfortable seated position to start. Don't have to do this like yogi heel stacking thing. You could just sit in a normal cross-leg position or on your shins if you want to, kneeling or legs extended, wherever you feel like you can be at ease but also have a nice long spine. I don't know if I should close your eyes. And for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose and exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more. And continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. And notice how your breath is flowing. If it feels really open and spacious, then awesome. If you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way, then also awesome. But maybe try to lengthen through those parts just to smooth the breath out a little bit more. As every inhale, imagine your spine lengthening a little bit from your tailbone up to the crown of your head. Your body might not move, right? Literally just kind of feel that length. And with each exhale, feel a gentle softening of the front body. Inhale to find length. And exhale to soften. So we are tall and supported and long here, but not gripping. Last few breaths here. And then let's start to get into the spine a little bit. You can keep your eyes closed if you wish as you inhale. Start to lift your heart up to the sky. Exhale, send a little rounding through the spine. Pull through the shoulder blades. Inhale to lift. And exhale around. So a few more of these seated cat and cow undulations on your own time, on your own breath. These could be really fluid and unctuous, or maybe sharp and fiery. But just go where you need to go. And on your next inhale, come back to the tall seat. As you exhale, start to draw circles with your torso down and forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale down, inhale up. So you might need to change, the crossing of your legs, or if you were sitting in a position that doesn't allow you to do these circles, then come to one that does. They could be really shallow, they could be really deep. Your head could stay long on the end of your neck, or you could let it flop around. Once more this direction. And then on your next exhale, switch directions. You can notice if one direction feels smoother than the other. Maybe they both feel really wicked. Maybe they both feel really horrible. Just notice. A few more. Okay, on your next inhale, pause back at the top. Gather your equilibrium. Ooh, I'm feeling dizzy today. I don't know about you. Bring your right fingertips to the floor. Inhale, reach the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, side bend to the right. So try not to crunch that ear up to your, or shoulder up to your ear. Drop it down the back. Press the right fingertips away from you to really puff into the ribs on the left side. Reach that left sit bone down as the left fingertips reach away. Really beautiful extension here, or rather lateral extension. And can you think of spiraling those upper left ribs open to the sky a little bit more? And then inhale back to center. Let's switch sides. Reach the right arm up overhead. Exhale over to the left. So you can kind of pulse or ease into it. I really like pressing my left hand away again to find that puff. And to the right side, right sit bone reaches down, right fingertips reach away, and then spiral the upper right ribs open to the sky. Couple more breaths here, getting as much space into that right side as you can. And then inhale, back to center, shake it out. Let's do a twist. Reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale over to the right. So that left hand might come forward. Right fingertips could come behind you. You could press the fingertips into the floor to get more length through the spine here as you exhale, twist. Now notice what this left hip is doing. It really likes to sneak forward. Wrap it back in line. One more breath here. On your inhale, come back to center, and then exhale, twist to the opposite side. Right hand comes forward, left hand goes behind you. Maybe you press those left fingertips on the floor. Wrap the right hip back. With every inhale, find length, and with every exhale, maybe a bit deeper of a twist. And then slowly inhale, come back. Shake it all out. Let's make our way to hands and knees. I'm going to move my blocks up to the top edge of the mat. They're handy to weight down the mat so it doesn't curl back up. Hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. Knees underneath hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels better for you today. And then inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through the collarbones. And exhale, tuck your tailbone under, really round through your spine. Press the floor away from you. Inhale into cow. Exhale, round into cat. So a few more of these cat and cow undulations on your own time, on your own breath. And notice if there's any other movement that would feel really good here. Just start to make your way into your body. Ease your way through, a little wiggle or shake. And then slowly come back to center. Shake it out if you need to, or reset your clothes. And then let's step right away, step the right foot forward. So I'm going to turn to face you, and I'm going to bring a little bit of extra padding underneath my left knee. So right foot forward, left knee down, half kneeling. Hug the legs toward each other, squeeze the bum, belly button to spine, shoulders on back, maintaining all that. Shift forward into that front knee. So really squeeze the bum on that back leg. We're going to try and release through these hip flexors because we'll be using them later on. So if they're already kind of tight and crunchy, it's not going to feel as nice as if they're a little bit more supple. And again, you know this, right? The more you squeeze the bum on that back leg, the more you will feel this here. One more breath here. Okay, as you exhale, shift your hips back, extending through the front leg for half splits. Hands could be on hips, or maybe you have a wall. If you have blocks, then you could use blocks or the floor. Wrap that left hip forward. Draw your right hip back. And you can notice, maybe you can't see it, I've got quite a bend on my right leg. My hamstrings are tight these days, so I don't need to go for that full extension of the knee. I'm feeling tension all along the back of my thigh with that bend in the knee, right? Never feel like your knees have to be straight in a hamstring stretch. Flare the toes on that front foot. Can you press the big toe mound forward slightly as the other toes peel back? And that also helps prevent hyperextending into the knee. Last couple of breaths here. Okay, and then as you inhale, come forward into that front knee. Bring both hands inside your front foot. Your hands could be up on blocks. Maybe heel into it out a little bit wider and on an angle. So your toes could be off the edge of your mat. And then allow the hips to sink a little bit without just hanging out in the hips, right? You want to feel that little lift so that you're not, just hanging out in the ligaments of the pelvis. You might stay here. If that right knee really wants to wing out, keep your front ankle active and then roll to the baby toe edge of the foot, right? So you're not just hanging out here with wrinkles in the foot, right? You kind of get the wrinkles to go away. For some of us, there might be more wrinkles than others. Keep that front ankle active is all I mean. Last couple breaths here. Just getting into the groin a little bit. Okay, and then gently press yourself back up. Heel into that front leg back into neutral, or swing it back, hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then we'll switch sides. So if you're using padding, bring it underneath your right knee now. And then step or sweep that left leg forward for half kneeling. Now, as always, if you want to go into, the kind of yoga version of low lunge, you're welcome to go there. This is, in theory, a yoga class. I really personally prefer the active variations. I'm going to hug the legs towards each other, squeeze the bum, belly band to spine, shoulder blades on the back, and then shift forward. Certainly for the first, or for the big stretch of the hip flexors, I like to do it active. Later on, if I'm kind of exploring the movement a little bit more, I might go into a deeper low lunge. If this front knee is wobbly, ground the heel down. Keep squeezing the bum on that back leg. Right? Really trying to get as much release into the front of those hips as we can, but also an awareness of that space. Last couple breaths here. Okay, exhale, shift your hips back, extend through the front leg, half splits. Again, hands can be wherever they need to be so that you can find space. Wrap the right hip forward, draw your left hip back, right? Even hands on hips. I can still get a fantastic hamstring stretch here. It's just a little bit more wobbly. Peel those front toes back toward your face, but press the big toe mound forward if you can. It takes a little bit of mind bending mixed with dexterity. Although it's the left foot, so maybe it's sinisterity. Dexter, sinister. Used to teach Latin. Last couple breaths here. Little micro bend in that knee. Okay, inhale, shift forward, back into that front knee. Bring both hands inside your front foot, heel and toe it out wider and on an angle. You might even slide the back knee back a little bit to give yourself a bit more space, and then allow the hips to sink. But again, not just hanging out. You have that little hug of the legs back to the center line so the hips will lift slightly, even as you're hanging a bit lower here. And again, if that front knee really wants to wing out to the side, it might not to, but if it's feeling tight, then roll to the baby toe edge of the foot. Keep that front ankle active. You could even make it a bit more active by imagining that you're dragging the front heel back toward you. That'll really get into the muscles that attach to the IT band, TFL, that sort of thing. Last couple breaths here. Okay, and then slowly make your way back to hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake, cat and cow, whatever you need. And then, actually, I'm going to use the padding again because my knees are tender. I'm going to bring it back underneath the left knee, hands planted, and then pick up that right leg and just mobilize. Mobilize through the hips. So imagine, oh, maybe you're a butterfly, flapping wings, or just one of your 4 wings, or 2 wings. And then let's switch sides. Maybe you're using padding under your knee, maybe not, doesn't matter. If you never use padding under your knee, you could try it and see. And maybe you're like, maybe it feels really awesome. Okay, come back to center. Tuck your toes, make sure your hands are nice and wide, fingertips spread wide. Exhale, lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Pedal the heels a little bit, bend the knees, wag the tail from side to side. Now this next section can be done from hands and knees instead if you prefer, particularly if your wrists are sore. You could always go onto fists to keep those wrists in neutral. Otherwise, join me in downward facing dog. On your inhale, lift the right leg high. And then I want you to take your right leg out to the right. I'm going to come a little bit further this way so that I don't knock over my bookshelf as I do this. Okay, so you want the toes pointing to the top right edge of the mat and the sole of the foot pressing out to the right. So you're feeling that outer hip excite, right? Getting fired up. Okay, back to center. And then pedal it out. Right, same thing from hands and knees. You can do this. And then inhale, the left leg high. And then exhale, bring it out to the left. So toes point up to the top edge of the mat. Ankle is flexed. Sole of the foot presses to the left. Maybe you lift a little bit higher. Maybe you try to bring it a little bit more forward. Inhale back to center. Exhale down. Bend your knees. Look forward. Take as many steps as you need to come into your standing forward fold. Little swing from side to side. There's a little, maybe a little bee sting in those glutes, huh? When we're doing that. Just a little foreshadowing of where we're going. Couple more breaths here. Maybe you're resting your elbows on your knees or have your hands on blocks. Okay, with your fingertips to your shins now. Inhale, lift up partway, belly button to spine. Tailbone and heart reaching in opposite directions. And exhale. Let it go. 2 more. And then bend your knees, head heavy, arms heavy. Slowly start to roll up to standing. 1 vertebra at a time, as slow as you need to go. Till eventually you're all the way up. Couple loops of the shoulders up, back and down. A little noodle. Release or shake out. All right. How's everyone doing? You can't answer me, so I'm going to assume that you're all right. Okay, stand all the way over to that right leg. Little buoyancy on the supporting knee. Belly button to spine. Shoulder blades on the back. And then pick up the left leg. We're just going to keep moving here. So similar to what we did on hands and knees, but obviously that right leg is doing quite a bit more work now as it stabilizes. Maybe you take the leg extended and out to the side. All right. Maybe bring it around to the back like a rond de jambe. Right. Particularly playing with this side angle, right? Butterfly leg or a tree leg. Ooh. And then shake it out. Then go to the left leg. Little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Pick up the right leg. And then just playing with the stability for a few breaths. Maybe you extend the right leg, take it out to the side and back. And maybe you bring it around all the way. Right, particularly a couple of these. And then shake it all out. Couple breaths, just in mountain pose. Eyes open or closed. Notice what you notice. Feel what you feel. And then flicker your eyelids open. Let's do one last standing thing before we take it down to the floor. Send the weight back over to that right leg. Pick up the left knee and then cross the left ankle over top of the right thigh. Knee goes wide. Send your hips down and back. So right leg is in chair pose. Left leg is in a figure 4 stretch. You might stay here, just working the hip opener, really getting into the glutes on that back leg. Maybe you come down a little bit deeper. Forearms to your shin. Maybe you're going for some sort of arm balance. Wherever you need to go. A couple more breaths here. Keep this left ankle really active. Right. Just so we're not unintentionally sickling the joint. And if you activate where you can, when you're balancing, it makes the balance easier. Okay, inhale, come back up. Whew, shake it all out. Send the weight over to that left leg. Get a little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Cross the right ankle over top of the left thigh. And then sit your hips down and back. Some days the balance is easier than others. Make sure that right or that left hip isn't sneaking forward. Right, maybe you stay up tall, maybe you fold down a little bit deeper. Maybe you stay with me, just struggling for the balance today. A few more breaths here. That's what I get for not maintaining my single point of focus for my eyes. Okay, inhale, come all the way up. Shake it out, little noodle. Coming back, parallel to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Fingertips to your shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, plant your hands, come on down to hands and knees, and then shift your hips on one side so you can swing your legs forward. Okay, what we've been building up to. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. So if you have something to sit up on, again, this is going to make it a lot easier. I'm going to go ahead and make it even easier for myself, sitting up on a big block. If you don't have anything to sit up on, that is fine. Soles of the feet come together, knees wide. Okay, so butterfly pose. Couple breaths here. For me, being lifted up this high in butterfly feels super bizarre, but we're not going to be here like folding forward in a stretch. So you might just take a couple flaps of your wings. Maybe it helps to imagine what kind of butterfly you are. I know that's something my daughter would do. Okay, so we're floating like a butterfly. We're going to start to sting like a bee. So slow the pulses down or even stop them. Can you just pick up that right foot and down, and the left foot and down. Okay, right foot, pick it up, extend out to the side and back and down. Try not to round back like I was doing. A couple more each side. You can use your fingertips on the floor, right, for more stability. Maybe you're still trying to float like a butterfly while you're bringing that little stinger out. Right, and then the lower you are down to the floor, the harder this is because you don't have as much clearance from the floor. We all have different leg sizes and weights, so do what you need to do. Let's do once more each side. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Shake it out. You feel the groin and the hip flexors in particular. Okay. Maybe you stay seated up on something. Maybe you come down lower or onto the floor. Let's take a nice release now through butterfly. You might just be up tall, right? You could have blocks underneath your knees just to help take gravity out of it. Maybe you come forward on that long line. Just see how the low back feels. And then maybe you release, rounding forward. Hopefully this feels like now a release of those groin and hip flexor muscles that we were kind of targeting with the bee stings. So a couple more breaths, wherever you need to be. And then using your hands, if you want to, slowly on your inhale, roll yourself back up. You can use your hands to draw the thighs together. Shake out the legs, bring the hands behind you. Little windshield wiper of the knees. That internal rotation feels good for me, particularly after those bee stings. Okay. Maybe you're allergic to bee stings. That's cool too. We don't ever have to do these again. Plant your feet. Maybe you start to roll down. You could use your hands for support if you wish. And then once you're down on your back, hug your knees into your chest. Little rock from side to side. Let's come into a twist. Take your right arm out to the side. Maybe shift your hips right. And then exhale, lower the knees to the left. So as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. The knees could be stacked. They could be crossed. You take a single leg twist. You might look along the right arm just to finish off the spiral in your neck. Last breath here. And then slowly inhale, return to center, reset your pelvis, your spine. Maybe the hip shift left a little bit to start, and then exhale, lower the legs to the right. You could look along your right arm if you wish. Again, as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. Last couple breaths here. And then inhale, slowly return to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine, and then heel and toe your feet out mat width apart, and allow your knees to hang in toward each other. So just really giving the groin and the hip flexors a bit of a release. As well the outer hips. And then hug your knees into your chest. Maybe take a little rock from side to side. You could stay here. Maybe you take your knees wide out toward your shoulders or armpits, or you could kick your feet to the sky for happy baby. Grabbing anywhere along the backs of the legs, the ankles, the feet. And even here, maybe you rock a little bit from side to side. And then if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest posture or meditation, feel free to go where you'd like to go. Maybe you rest today in supine butterfly if that feels all right for you. Again, you can always bring pillows or blocks underneath your thighs, just really getting that gravity release through the groin and hip flexors. You could rest on your back, legs bent or straight, on your side, or it's child's pose, wherever you need to go. And there's no rush to find your pose of rest. But once you're there, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh your breath. Couple more. And then let go of your breath control. Return to the natural breath, slow and sweet. Can you notice if you're holding tension anywhere in your body, particularly in your neck or jaw? Maybe you can release it a little bit more. As you exhale, let your body just relax, soften into the earth. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.